It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name. Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You watching Casino is the name. And in this video, we are going to talk about careers in the government. Okay, and there's a reason why I'm doing this video. Now, you know, I try to provide as much quality content as I can, things that can directly impact you guys. That's what I want to talk about. And of course, sometimes I forget things that I would think that other people already know or would be a standard. And so I was recently talking to some college students, well, actually some college graduates, and they were trying to figure out, you know, like what could be the next step for them. They've seen some of my videos, or they heard that I was a good person to speak to about the next steps of their career. And so they were asking questions about, you know, how to apply for government jobs on USA Jobs, or where to find even jobs for the government. And so, you know, we just get to talking, and I started just telling them, you know, how to apply. They applied for a job, but they actually didn't have their transcript. And, you know, they're college graduates, and, you know, the job says, okay, there are positions on USA Jobs where you can get a position that will be a career ladder position where you can come in as a GS7. And I think the particular situation was that job went to GS12. So it would start them as a GS7. The next year they would be a GS9. The next year they can be a GS11. And then I guess within 3 years they can be a GS12, automatically built into their career ladder. Which would start them around $49,000 as a GS7, and as a GS12 in 3 years they can be making, I think, like $87,000 or something, $85,000. So a $40,000 raise over a 3-year time frame, automatically built into your job. You don't even have to ask what's next for me. If you were to land your first entry-level job, this particular job or career path is automatically set up for you to keep taking you to the next level. And I know a lot of people who are coming into the workforce are wondering, you know, when they get civilian jobs, there's not typically a direct, you know, line in sight for you to know what you're supposed to do next. You know, you come into a job and, you know, you may just stay there in that particular situation, that position, and they might give you some raises here and there, but there may not be like, how do I take you to management? How do I take you up and, you know, throughout this company? But the federal government does have these opportunities, and they are looking for recent graduates. And so there are special hiring authorities that allow them to hire people who recently graduated from college, and those positions are not open to, say, veterans, for them to have to compete against veterans. It's not open for just anybody from the general public. They want people, new college graduates, who, you know, to come in and to go into those positions, and they want to help take them on a path throughout their career. And so it's a very dope program, okay? Take advantage of it. If you know anybody who recently graduated and say like the last year, they can apply as a recent graduate, and, you know, there's positions that will take them straight to, I guess you could say, the middle of their career in a short amount of years. So the GS system. So in this video, I want to talk about GS jobs. I want to talk about SES jobs. I want to talk about the military officer and enlisted. I want to talk about ROTC. I want to talk about a lot of different things, because throughout these conversations, when I'm talking to these college students, I'm learning so much about things that I kind of didn't realize that wasn't, I guess, readily available information that almost everybody should know. And so you know, my bubble is, I've been in the military since I was 19. My sister was ROTC. She's 9 years older than me. And so from middle school to now, I've known about, different things about the military as far as ROTC. My sister went into the Army as an officer. I went in and enlisted. My brother went in and enlisted. And so I came out, went GS. My sister participated in a program while she was in the military that allowed her to go back to law school while she was still serving and become an officer, a lawyer, a JAG. And so I participated in the program where I went from active duty in Germany to the reserves in Georgia. So I transitioned out of active duty into the reserves. And then I was also reactivated in the reserves. My brother medically retired from the Army. My sister medically retired from the Army, and we're all disabled veterans. I'm not 100%, I'm 80%, but I have a lot of knowledge about the military. But then at the same time, I was a GS, and, I worked, I was in a career ladder position, and I have just been surrounded and immersed from coming out of the military to getting my first job as a GS-7, as an accounting technician at the Department of Veteran Affairs, right? And before I transitioned and, after I graduated from college with my accounting degree. And so I just know a lot about this space, right? So from the military to being a GS employee and working up through the ranks and things like that, and just being also surrounded by other people who are in the same kind of space, right? I don't necessarily have to explain how to get a job on USA Jobs to people who are GS 11s and 12s who are working around, and most of the people I interact with, we all kind of know the same thing. But for the general public, they don't know these things. And, I kind of got complacent by that and kind of forgetting that not everybody knows, By the way, if you're watching right now, can you please, get in the chat and just let me know where you're watching from, like what city, what state or something, just let me know. Just get in the chat and just let me know. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of break down like some of the background for this for people who aren't familiar with the government career paths and things like that. So this is what I was told from some of the college students that. First of all, I'm going to just go back to how it even came up. I was talking about, the person had already graduated, and I was saying, did you get scholarships? Because their parents had money set aside for them to go to school and everything. So that was a blessing. They were like, yeah, I got scholarships and stuff like that. And they were interested in a career in the government. I said, well, you can always look at the military too. You can get a GS job, but you could also look at the military too. So they were like, yeah, I'm down for whatever. And I said, so you know what? If you had took ROTC, you could have also got that money too, but I guess you decided not to. And they were like, well, I don't really know too much or too many people who were actually in ROTC who went to school with me. And I was like, that's interesting. So you didn't really see a lot of ROTC representation? He's like, not really. I really was surprised that ROTC was even in college. And I was like, what? Like what do you mean? Like you're surprised that ROTC was in college? It was like, yeah, like I didn't know they even had that in college. And I said, wait, but you're saying you're familiar with it in high school, right? And they were like, yeah, I just didn't know they had it in college. And I said, maybe I'm showing my age here, right? Because I remember when ROTC was only in college, okay? It wasn't in high school. It was only in college. When my sister went to FAMU, and she was in ROTC at FAMU. So my interaction with ROTC was in college. And I remember when they started making junior ROTC programs, the JROTC, which is the one that's in high schools. And, to think about it is junior ROTC is the baby version of the real ROTC. And this person had gone to college and barely even seen any representation of ROTC at their school and had no real understanding of the benefits of it, like of being able to, because I was like, man, had you just done ROTC, you wouldn't have had to go to basic training if you became an officer, because you would have got your trainings more than likely, from what I understand about ROTC, you would have got your training throughout the time that you was participating in the program, and you would have got commissioned upon graduation into the military. You wouldn't have to, now that you finished college, now you have to go find a recruiter and try to find a job. They would have brought you in, you would have had a job and been ready to ship out to your new assignment or whatever upon graduation from college. So it was kind of like, it's built in. You don't have to apply anywhere anymore. Like, you already know where you're going. And they were like, man, I didn't even know anything about that. I didn't know they did that. And I was like, this is interesting. How many other people don't know? And this is a college graduate. How many other people don't know about ROTC, or even that college ROTC was before junior ROTC? Like that seems like a crazy thing for me for people to not even know. But if you don't really see it and you don't have anybody to explain it to you and things like that, and so we started looking up, the benefits of ROTC, and one of them was that I think what we saw was like they'll pay $18,000 towards your tuition, and so if you already have school paid for, then that could be extra money. Who couldn't use some extra money, right? But they'll pay $18,000 towards your tuition and things like that. And so upon graduating from college, you automatically could get a job, with the military, and then now you're a second lieutenant or whatever. And so that career path was just like missed by so many people who don't really know, and who probably would do that. They just don't even know like how this even works, because the only interaction they might have had with, say, an ROTC would have been in high school, and that's a completely different thing. That high school ROTC, if you do a couple years of high school ROTC, they'll let you, like when you enlist to come into the military, you can start maybe at a higher enlisted rank. Instead of coming in as a airman basic, if you were in the Air Force, maybe you can start as an A1C, airman first class. So there's airman basic, airman, and then there's airman first class. It just depends on how many years of ROTC you got or whatever. But it doesn't make you an officer. To be an officer in the military, you have to have at least a bachelor's degree. You have to have at least a bachelor's degree to become an officer. And they were surprised at that. They said, oh, really? I didn't know that either. So there's a lot of misunderstandings about serious career paths that people can take, as far as like the military, as far as like the GS side and things like that. So what I want to do is I want to come on, and because, I was telling them, I said, you got your degree, you can take this position, and this position that they were applying for on USA Jobs with it had a ladder grade, and it was for recent graduates, and I think it was remote telework, so they can telework and get the GS-12 on a career ladder. It's only 15 pay grades in the GS system, GS 1 through 15, right? And so you'll be a 12 in like 3 years if you promote every year, as you have the ability to. So if you promote every year, you can be, you'll start as a 7, then 9, 11, 12. So in 3 years, you could be a GS-12. And it's only 3 grades higher than that. You have to go find another job to go through those other pay grades, but you can make 6 figures even if you just stay to 12 after so long. It goes over 100,000. So, this is already built into your career path. It already lets you know this is where you can go with this, and they were like, man, that's interesting. And so I said, and if you can always, because you young, just got out of college, you can go and get you can probably be a SES. In a couple of years, you could, as you move up through the ranks, 10, 15, 20 years, you can become an SES. And they said, well, I know what a GS is, but what's an SES? And I said, you know what? That's crazy, because that's a whole nother thing, right? Most people don't know what a SES is, you know? Do you guys know what a SES is? SES, Senior Executive Service. Okay, so GS-15, or the GS system goes up to GS-15, 1 through 15. Most of the positions that you can get that don't require a degree are typically GS-4 through GS-6, right? And then GS-7, usually they want you to have at least a bachelor's degree or higher to come in. And so it's kind of like the military, like where the enlisted ranks, you can come in enlisted with no degree, but you can't be an officer with no degree. So GS-7 is kind of like entry level, officer rank, kind of like the lowest officer rank would be like a GS-7, at least for the Air Force equivalent ranks. And you can actually find a chart that'll show you the Air Force equivalent rank system. And so you can see, okay, if I'm a GS-9, that's equivalent to a officer 01 or first lieutenant or something like that. And you can look this up. And it also goes by like the branch that you're comparing it to or whatever. And so, you'll see all of those things. But anyway, the SES, okay, so GS-15 would be equivalent to, say, like a full bird colonel. But then if you looked at, say, the military rank system, there are ranks above full bird colonel. The ranks above full bird colonels are generals, brigadier general, major general, lieutenant general, and then general. And so the government, the civilian workforce also has something above the colonel or the GS-15 pay grade, and that would be the SESs. SESs are the equivalent to generals, okay? So that's a huge opportunity to become an SES, and they're super powerful positions in the government. But you can of course have a great life as a GS, but not a lot of people apparently know about SESs. Even other GSs don't know what an SES is. I'm not saying everybody don't, but a lot of the GSs that I know, they don't actually know what an SES is. And so, but SES is Senior Executive Service. And so now let's talk about the military. Okay, so the military. My sister went ROTC commission through college. So she got a direct commission through college because she participated in ROTC, I'm pretty sure, for like 4 years. And when she graduated from FAM, she got commissioned into the United States Army. I was like, yo, I'm not going to college. At least at that time, I wasn't going to college. I went back, got my degree and stuff now. But at that time, I was like, college I ain't focused. I ain't gonna be able to do that. Exponential. What up, T? Keep the content coming. Oh, yeah, I'm on it. I'm trying to keep it going. You feel me? So I'm trying to tell these people about how to get these jobs, you know what I'm saying? Like about these different career paths. They paying real money. You know what I'm saying? They paying real money. And people don't know about these opportunities, right? Like they're not even taking advantage of the fact that as soon as I graduate from college, I can have a job. I don't have to go try to find a job once I graduate. I can have a job already. Even if I majored in a degree like, let's say I majored in psychology. To be an officer, they just want you to have a bachelor's degree. It doesn't really matter what the degree is in. As long as it's a bachelor's degree from an accredited school, you can get an officer position in the military. So you may go to school and get a sociology degree or a bachelor's degree, and then you find out that you cannot get a job with a sociology or bachelor's degree, because now you need a master's degree, and then you need to take a test, and you need to take clinicals in order to kind of become a doctor almost. And so you're like, dang, I didn't know that, but I got this bachelor's degree. I need to make some money, but I can't go maybe work at an accounting firm with my my bachelor's degree in sociology, but they are hiring, but I don't meet their qualifications because I got this degree that is kind of useless unless I go further, right? And so you can basically go into the military with that bachelor's degree in psychology and they'll send you wherever they want you to be, but all you need to get in is just that degree. So you could have a job. So you was in ROTC, you could have went through ROTC, graduated with this degree in psychology and realized, dang, I can't really do much with this degree, but I already got a guaranteed job and they're going to pack up my household goods. They're going to give me a plane ticket. They're going to send me to whatever program they want me to learn about, and they're going to be paying me from day one. Well, you know, when you ship out, whenever they activate you, whatever. And so you can have a great career in the military and do that. Or just go get your experience and more education and then transition out of that. But you could have a job from day one. You know how many people graduate and they're like not working for 2 years because they got a degree that, you know, and so they're just trying to figure out a way to get another degree that they can actually use, a post-bac or which is a post-bachelor's degree, which is like, okay, I finished one bachelor's degree, you know, and maybe I need to do another one that I can maybe either use for something else or whatever, because this one, it's shorter time for me to get another bachelor's degree. And also, now I could choose to go get a master's degree, but the master's degree would probably take longer than me getting another bachelor's degree. And so a lot of people do post-bac, you know, so I know this is probably a lot of different random information kind of sounding, but I promise you, it makes sense. If you start applying this stuff, any of these things that I'm saying, you start using this stuff, I promise you, it'll start making sense. And one of the most important things that I found that people don't realize is that you need, once you graduate, you're about to graduate, whatever, you're graduating from college, right? Your degree is great. Right? Like, it's great. You got your degree. You went to college. That's awesome. Right? And now you want to get a job. This person did not have their transcript. So the job is like, yes, apply for me. Cool. They applied. One of the parts of it says, well, your application came processed, or, you know, we still need your transcript. Right? It's a required document to prove that you're a recent graduate or to prove that you can do a certain kind of job. So if I go get my accounting degree and I'm applying for a job as an accountant, auditor, whatever, and they're saying, okay, well, prove to us that you went to college and got your accounting degree because it is a requirement that you do this. And imagine if I'm like, oh, I got my degree, I got like my diploma, it's in a frame, I can send you a picture of it, but I don't actually have my transcript because I never requested it from my school because, you know, I'm done with school. I graduated and I was going to maybe request it if I was trying to apply for a master's program or a medical school or something like that, then I maybe apply, but I wasn't thinking that I needed to do that. And so then the job is like, well, look, we got a couple more days, a couple more hours before we close. So if you really want this job or to apply for this job, you need to submit your transcript, and it needs to be an official copy signed by the registrar's office. And so now the person is like, oh, I got to get online or call my school and order a transcript. And then the school, I think this person been waiting on the transcript a week now. A week. They've been waiting on the transcript a week. I don't know if the job is even still available to be applied to, but it was a gravy job for them to apply to. But they're in a situation where their job builder profile is incomplete because they don't have the transcript. Seems like something that everybody should know, but clearly people don't know this. And so get your transcript. Go, if you went to school at all, get your transcript. You should have an official copy, not the unofficial one that you can download from the school website. Get the official one that's signed by the registrar's office, even if it says student issue, where they issued it to the student instead of to an institution. That's fine. You just need to have proof of an official transcript. And so that actually has become an issue in that particular situation. But don't let that, don't let that happen to you. And if you know people who are just graduating, I got my transcript the day I graduated. The day I graduated, I went to the registrar's office and I was like, hey, I'm trying to get my transcript. And they was like, okay, cool, because I'm at the school already. It's graduation. They gave me a copy of it. I was good to go. That's all you got to do. But now they not in school no more. They got to call. They had to order online, and they're waiting on a PDF version of it. They hit their email, but it's still being processed because it still has to be, I guess, signed off by whoever is in the registrar's office, maybe digitally or whatever. And I don't know why they take it so long, but we don't want to run into that situation. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, what else I want to talk about? Let's talk about salaries. Now, I was talking to my son. I was talking to Jaden, right? And Jay says, I'm like, yo, so we ride. And I'm like, so Jay, what you want to do? Like, what do you want to do with your life, right? And so he says, well, not really sure, everything, but I know that I want to be retired by 40. And I said, why? Why do you want to be retired by 40? And he said, I just feel like, I'm not going to really want to work that long and that hard. I think I just want to be retired by 40. And so I said, that's interesting. I'm 39, right? And he was like, oh, really? Oh, well, 40 just seems so far. I said it does until you, become really, really grown. It doesn't seem that far. But he was like, yeah, but still, I think like by 40, I just want to be done. Like, I don't want to be working anymore. And I said, but why? And he said, I don't know. Like, I think I can get by, do a few things, get some bread in when I'm younger, and then, not do too much. I don't want to work too hard. And then by the time I'm 40, I just want to be done with working. And I said, look, I don't have a problem with your goal, right? That can be an amazing goal, to be retired by 40 years old. Military people be retired at like 39 and 40 and stuff like that, because if you went in at 18, you do 20 years, you're 38. You went in at 19, you do 20 years, you're 39. But most of that money isn't like necessarily, for most people, isn't like, I can really be retired and really live and continue raising my kids with this amount of money. Most people, it ain't enough money. But let's say, in the reality, in like the real world kind of thing, right? So if you were to say, let me look up the average, I already did this as a matter of fact. If you look up average salary in the United States or average salary in the state of Georgia, because I'm in Atlanta, so average salary in the state of Georgia is $58,000. Now, I just want you to remember this. The average salary, let me put it in the chat. Is $58,000. The average salary in Georgia. See, somebody's gonna be like, that's not true. There's gonna be like, you misquoted. In Georgia, the average salary is $58,000. Now, you can look at that as a lot of money. You can look at that as a low amount of money. That's up to you. It depends on how you spend money, I guess. I don't know. But the average salary in Georgia is $58,000. So then I said, okay, now let's look up. I said, you may want to retire by 40, right? And I understand that. I get it. It's not a bad goal. It's a great goal. The reality, though, is by the time you are retiring, or typically by the time you reach, the older you get, you are making more money than you did. You're making the most money you ever made in your life. And so why would you retire then? Right? Like you have climbed this hurdle of school and education and or just working and getting experience in a job and advancing and getting promotions, or even if you're building out your business or whatever. But if you're working and you're moving up in rank or whatever position, finances, you get more money, by the time you get to say 40, right, you're making the most money you ever made. Now, I'm using this $58,000 as an example. Okay, so $58,000 in Georgia is the average salary. Now, I tell him, okay, look up the average salary of a medical officer, which is a doctor, and it's called medical officer in the government. If you look up medical officer, that's basically a doctor. So I said, look up the average salary of a medical officer for the federal government on like the federal website thing, the federal pay website. And it said the average salary, I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm pretty sure I know it, but let me look it up because I don't want to misquote, because you guys watch close. Let me see. Average medical, medical officer salary. Okay. Average medical officer salary. I'm looking for the government. I should have typed in government, federal government. All right, I'm going to type in federal government because I don't see it. Federal government. All right, so let's see what it says. Okay, here we go. It says, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can put it on the screen so you guys can see. Uh-oh. All right, hold on. Where is it? Right here. Okay, so it says $258,715 is the average medical officer salary. Now, if you remember what I put in the chat, hold on, I'm gonna type that in the chat too. Average medical officer salary in the federal government is $258,000. Double check. Is that right? Yeah, $258,000. We don't need to put the 715 on it, right? Now, the average salary in Georgia is $58,000. The average medical officer salary is $258,000, with the highest paid medical officer at 400. Let me double check. I don't want to misquote. That it says, okay, the highest paid medical officer made $480,000 working for the government. Now, they can make more money private sector, but working for the government, the highest paid doctor made $480,000. Now show him the average salary for a medical doctor, medical officer for a doctor. He was like, what? That's crazy. That's $200,000 a year more. What? That's crazy, right? Because you could see the numbers. And I said, yeah. I said, but let's do we gotta do more numbers we gotta do more math on this. Now let's say you were going to college, right? To become a medical doctor, because you have to go to college to become a medical doctor. And I said, okay, so how long does it take? Get on Google, get on whatever, and search how many years does it take to become a medical doctor or a doctor? And it says it takes 10 to 14 years. 10 to 14 years, all right, to become a doctor. 10 to 14 years. So I'm like, all right, well, if it's taking 10 to 14 years and you graduated at 18 years old, right? 18 years old to 28, to plus 10 years, if it's only 10 years, that puts you at 28. If you graduate at 18 and it takes you 14 years, now you're 32 years old. You're only between 8 and 12 years from 40. Now, as soon as you get out of your clinicals, or as soon as you become a doctor that can actually work in the industry, you're 28 to 32. Okay? So let's say you're 28. Let's say you're 28. You still are not going to start at the $480,000 mark. You know, if you're working for the federal government, you are still going to start as an entry-level doctor, which could be, you know, 100,000, 125,000. I'm not even really sure what the entry level is. Not saying that it's like a small amount of money, but it's still not going to be even the average salary of 258,000 or whatever. It might be like 125,000, 170,000 or whatever. But you still won't start at the top of the food chain. So you have to work until you get to that point, right? So as you're working to earn your, you know, your way to the $258,000 mark, there's years passing, right? And you got student loans, you got this, you got that, you know, it's your first year making money. That person who's been making only $58,000 a year, but they've been making it for 10 years longer than you've seen anything. So you're at least 2 years, 3 years behind in just income, right? Because you were in school while they were making money or whatever. So now we have to take into account, all right, now we've done this. We've made it to where we're making $258,000 a year. That's great. Next year we're gonna make $300,000. Now let's say you're 35, right? You got 5 more years, and in those 5 years you might be making $325 by the time you're 40, right? You turn 40, you're making $325,000 a year. There's another raise and another raise, or another pot of money, another pot, until you get to maybe $425,000 by the time you're 45, 50 or whatever. My whole point in saying this, though, is the whole reason that you even went this route was to be able to generate that kind of money later on in life. So trying to be retired at 40, if you're a serious professional, is usually the opposite. Like if you're an athlete, then yeah, that would make sense. Most athletes make the most money they ever gonna make in their life in the beginning part of their career. And unlike everybody else, most regular people, non-athletes, non-entertainers, make the most money they're ever going to make on the back end of their career. So you start out on the bottom and you work your way up. They start out on the top and they work their way down. That's why it's a real hard adjustment for most of them. Because if you go from making $20 million a year to making, you know, $200,000, $500,000, because they can still, let's say they still make $1 million a year, but they're coming from making $20 million a year for like the last 10 years, you know, or 5 years. They make $200 million, and now you say, okay, you're no longer playing the sport. You done made $200 million. I hope you got some money saved. And even if they generate $1 million or $900,000 or $2 million, it's still 10 times less than what they got accustomed to living like they had. And hopefully they've saved money and did this and did that. But it is still going to be a much bigger adjustment when you don't have that kind of money coming in. Now, if you like somebody like LeBron James, you got all kind of endorsement deals and this, then it might be completely different. But yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of mention that. And let's see. You guys stay with me. I'll be right back.
Beat me up, Scotty. Beat me up, Scotty.
Me and her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that?
All right. So I'm back. And hopefully somebody somewhere will see this video and know somebody who maybe this video can help and say, hey, I got a video you need to pay attention to, some things we need to look into. Hopefully there's some family members who see this and they got kids and they say, yo, we need to sit down and we need to talk because there's these opportunities for you to get some money, for you to get a job, for you to get a career, and there's a difference between a job and a career, right? Like, so, if you're trying to get a career, man, there's some great opportunities to work for the federal government, and then not even just the federal government. There's state jobs, there's city jobs, there's county jobs. Like, the government is government. I'm not trying to say you got to work for the federal government, though I believe the federal government pays better than everybody else. I do believe that. Let me see. I'm gonna look this up right now. So I'm about to look up something real quick. I want to see. So in case you don't know, I'm an accountant, right? And most of the people, I won't say most of the people who watch this channel are accountants, but most people know I'm an accountant, and I am big about the profession. It's also underserved right now. There's a shortage in black accountants or minority accountants, and there's just a shortage of accountants in general, but there's not a lot of new people coming into the space, and it looks a certain way to people because they don't really know what an accountant does. And I'm going to do a whole new video to explain what an auditor does, because I worked in audit. And I love audit. Right? But I'm gonna do an entirely different video. I might have to do I don't know if I'm gonna have to do more than one kind of video, because maybe I need to discuss accountant, then to discuss be an auditor, what it's like to be like a budget analyst or assurance service person, and maybe I just need to do that so that people can get a better understanding of like what all of this really is, because I know that people have no idea like what it means to be an auditor, and kind of what the job entails. People think things are boring. People think being an accountant is boring. And depending on what kind of accountant you are, or depending on what your job role is, it could be. But any job could be boring, Like, you might work for the NBA, and you could end up in a job that's boring. Like, you might be the guy who, once everybody's gone, you have to clean the gum from up under the bleachers. And you may be extremely bored with that, right? But just because you work for the NBA doesn't mean you have an exciting job. There's give and takes. And don't get me wrong, you may enjoy cleaning the bottom of gum off bleachers. I don't know, But I'm just trying to say that everything can be looked at individually. But accounting jobs can be very, very interesting, very, very fun. They can. Trust me. Also, how often should I come on here? How often should I do live videos like this? Like, I'm just really on here vibing, man. My son has a game today. But I also got to go by the airport. Let's see. Anyway, where you guys watching from? What's popping? What's popping, gang? Yeah, so I just wanted to come on here real quick. I don't know how long we've been on here. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably going to get off of here in the next few minutes. But you guys got any kind of questions, comments, please get in the chat, get in the comment section. Let me know once this video ends. While this video is going, you can get in the chat. Once the video is over, you can hit me in the comment section. Also, follow me on Instagram I'm gonna put it in the chat. You dig? So yeah, man, we pushing content. We pushing content, big content on here. Get you some money, baby. You feel me? Get you some money. You know, like people look at jobs as like jobs, like, oh, you're working for somebody, and they look at like if you work for yourself as like, oh, it's, you know, like it's better that you work for yourself and stuff like that. I mean, it could be financially, and then again, it could not be. It just depends. I still look at it like, even if you had a job, you work for yourself. You work for yourself. Like, if you have a business, you have a client, and your client wants you to do certain things and stuff like that. You can quit. You can quit and say, no, I don't want your business anymore or whatever. You could do that, but you know, you're liable to not being able to generate that business anymore. And same thing with having a job. Same thing with having a job. You have a client that you must satisfy, and that client is your boss or your supervisor or whoever. And when you have your own business and you got a client, during that process, that client is your boss. They're like, no, I want it like this. This is what I want, you know? And so it is what it is. Like, you have to satisfy somebody. And if you decide, no, I don't want to do this no more, it's no different. If you got a job and you say, you know what, man, I ain't doing that, and you walk out, you're perfectly fine. You can do that. Like, nobody is forcing you to do anything. So, but yeah, I just want to come on here and say that. I was thinking about coming back on here live tomorrow or something like that, but I got to check my schedule. Also, I probably just need to look and see what time is a good time for me to come on here. But anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. If you find any value in these videos, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you're watching right now, please smash the like button. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some more likes on here. I greatly appreciate you. I got a lot of different things we need to talk about, but I just wanted to come on here and do this one today. So right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we out.
Beat me up, Scotty. Me up, Scotty.
Me and her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me a threat. I'm the one that really live with a rap.
There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name.